Hello and welcome to the Aid Station. I'm Chris Robb, and today I'm hugely excited to be heading to Banja Luka in Bosnia and Herzegovina, where we meet Vladimir Selec, who is the founder and race director of the Banja Luka Half Marathon. Great to meet you, Vladimir. Thanks for making the time.
Sure. Great to meet you, Chris.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we started recording. It's obviously been challenging times there, as it has all over the world. But love to start with a little bit of a background on you and how you came to be in the role and so on.
Sure. Uh, I started running myself about 10 years ago. I was My wife and I and the two of our kids were stationed in Ukraine in Sevastopol, and I was just plainly bored. And I always liked to run. I did sports. I did college physical education and played some basketball during my time. And then I was bored. I saw this marathon. It was held in Kiev, in Ukraine, and I uh, I decided to prepare for it. So I started running, and then I never kind of got into the running philosophy. Let's put it that way. And once I started finding out and realizing how how widespread benefits are in regard to running, I started getting really hooked to it. And afterwards, we ended up in Banja Luka, and somehow it started it all. I felt like I need to share it with other people, and we started Banja Luka Half Marathon, a couple of my friends.
Wow, what a great story! And you were saying that's 6 years ago now, and it's growing. And I think you said
Yeah, the
the
race
six.
been growing, and we started kind of small. It was the first half marathon, first race of that kind in Banja Luka. Uh, as maybe people know, we had the war, that took about 4 or 5 years, and uh, you know, uh, things were back in the day. Things were good, and then everything was kind of normal. But then after the war, the country was recovering pretty slowly, and these things were kind of at the end of the priorities, let's say. And so there was that kind of, I was surprised that there's no races, there's nothing, knowing how much of a benefit, the running brings. I had the need to start it. And, through time, we try to develop it. It's a fairly big city of 200,000. We're close to some other bigger cities in this region: Belgrade, Zagreb, Ljubljana, and we try to promote the race. We also went, let's say, global. We joined AIMS.
Mhm.
We went to different conferences. We try to promote different races, and the race basically it grew. We started with about 2,000 people, I'd say 1,500 out of three races, and then it grew to five different races within the event. Now we have between 3 to 6,000, depending on the weather. I told you that before.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice weather, then we have a lot of people come and run the fun run. And the weather is bad, it's raining, people don't go out. Half marathoners and 10K and these relay racers, they'll come, but parents with kids won't show up.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. And I guess when you're in October, you're kind of at the fall time of the year where it's potentially quite chilly as well when you get that rain.
We're in southern Europe, so weather actually here is at that time of year, it's actually perfect for running.
Is
It's
it? Okay.
fairly
Yeah.
warm, between 15 and 20 degrees, so it's you know sometimes even warmer.
Hmm.
Uh, this is going to be actually the first time on October 11th. It's going to be the first time that we have this date.
Okay.
Before that, for 5 years we were in May, and it was hot, so
Right.
we that was an issue for us during those years. We'd have always few people ended up, collapsing and stuff. And that was one of the reasons that we kind of said, okay, maybe next year we should move it to the fall when it's still a little cooler.
Yeah,
you know.
right. And
So,
and
yeah.
what's life been like over the last few months under COVID?
Uh, just like everyone in the industry, it's been tough. It's been rough. We didn't know what we're facing from the start. We tried to go and organize right away. We came up with a virtual race. So we
Hmm.
started as soon as the things were stopped, and we also had the right from the start we had some sort of a curfew in the city, and how it uh, was in some places more or less. People stayed at home. You go out, you wear a mask. So all the events were stopped. We came up with a virtual event and started preparing for that, and that went actually pretty well at the time. Uh, but it's not a real event. And
Wow.
as the time went by, as people were learning more about COVID and everything that brings, and everybody was learning, um, we learned as well, but didn't learn much. As we mentioned before, it's you don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's next, and trying to adapt, trying to survive. Economically, we're not a big world race. I'm sure they're suffering much worse, but still for us, try to stay afloat. It's been a challenge, and at this point, we're preparing, trying to see what which way to go. The event is closing, and you know it, we always look tight with funds and stuff, and the sponsors are not really open as they were last few years, and I'm sure they have their problems. So shall we be putting the money in or not into the October 11th event or not? It's a it's tricky. So it's not a happy times.
Yeah, look, lots of challenges, and obviously, as you mentioned before, you know, the war in a country that's used to challenges in some ways, but this just ongoing challenges with so many unknowns around it. I mean, what would you say has been like the biggest challenge? I mean, have you got a team of staff? Have you had to let go of staff, or has it mostly been that cash flow has been the biggest challenge?
Right. Well, we would be about 4 to 6 months before the event. We hire most of our staff. Most of the people that do our part-time work. There's 3 people that are full-time, and then we hire the needed staff. And at that point, and some people kick in, with they still have their jobs, but they'll kick in with some help, some experienced people and stuff. So we're definitely lowering that. We kind of keeping them on hold and trying to say, wait, let's see what happens. And well, I think that the this year, if we would love to have the event, of course, and I think if we have it, it's definitely not going to be on the level that's been in the past few years. But I'm sure it's going to be for us. It's going to be much easier than if it was for these guys, the big guys and stuff. And they've been canceling. For
Yeah.
us, we're looking at 2 months before the event. Are we going to be able to have the event or not? And then, we also came up with this idea, and this might be interesting for your listeners and stuff. We came up with the idea to have a virtual race of our event. So you sign up for a virtual race, and or you decide to sign up for the live event.
Hmm.
And then about a month before the event, you decide if you want to switch to one or the other, which gives you more options. So
Yeah.
let's say you something else came up and you can't come, you can still run virtually, and you're going to get your runner's package. You're going to get, all the goodies and stuff and the medal, but you're going to have to come. And that also will help us with, kind of persuading people to sign up, say, okay, at the end of the line, if there's no event, you still can run virtually, or you can transfer your registration for the next year.
That sounds like a
So
great idea. And that's the same, pretty much the same entry fee for whatever option, or
yeah, what you're not gonna get beside that, part that where you enjoy, traveling, meeting with other runners, talking, socializing and stuff. So that we cannot give you, but and then beside that, there's some perks in the sense of you know kind of free food. You get some coupons. You go around the town. You just have some free drinks and foods and stuff. Well, you're not going to have that, right?
no?
But you're going to have your shirt. You're going to have we have a nice little backpack that we give to the runners. So we're going to ship. We decided to ship all that to everyone that runs it.
Well, that sounds like a great potential compromise for, so keep everyone happy, and that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about engaging. It's about finding solutions that makes the runner have the best experience. I always like to speak about leadership on the show, and clearly you've taken a leadership role in terms of creating this event 6 years ago and being the race director. So you have that leadership role on race day. What are some of the kind of leadership tips that you would share with people that are watching?
I don't know. For me, the leadership is exactly what's happening right now. Beside kind of putting everyone in their place and planning out and guiding people, telling them what to do. It's also like in a critical situations like this one, in a crisis, it's when you're supposed to raise up, and this is something that people expect from you. So it's not easy, but it's a must for someone that calls themselves leader, right? So I that I think it tells a lot. People that are doing our type of job and things, we know this is a tough work.
Yeah.
It's very beneficial, and as we spoke, a lot of us don't make any money from it. I'll include myself in it, but the benefits are great. The fun and knowing what you do, what you give to your community and overall the society and the world with running, everything the running brings, an event like this. Um, it's uh, also we kind of and probably you'd agree, when in these events we start, when the clock starts and starts going, when this event starts with, I don't know, issuing numbers, right? The runners packages, this is where it starts and ends somewhere there. So it doesn't stop, right? Because you
Yeah.
kind of stuck, right? You've got to
Yeah.
do it. It's
Yeah.
no going back. There's no like, oh, hold on, no, hold on, stop.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure, and I think we like that pressure. This
Yeah.
is, I guess you have to be born for that to enjoy that. But
Yeah.
it's addictive, right? So
Yeah.
once you go through it, it's hard to get off of it, right?
Yeah,
So
it's a
that's
great point, isn't it? Yeah, that
that.
whole, yeah, I love that whole, and there's different kinds of pressure. There's the business pressure. I used to love the race day pressure, being in the command center, making these decisions of, we've got a problem here, respond to it. It's a special experience and hugely satisfying.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
As always, I
So
like to end with an inspiring story. I'm sure you've seen plenty of inspirational things over the years. Is there anything that kind of stands out for you that you'd like to leave the viewers with?
I mean, there's many stories. With I'm always very sensitive to vulnerable groups. Social vulnerable groups that are we always try to bring in, and so they can take part in everything we do and stuff. And um, I'd like to point that out, that this is something we do, and this is something we committed to and every year we have more and different ways to help the needed. I'll go back to myself and just the funny way, and I think it's a good story because we in Banja Luka, you know, when I came to this city, there's no one running, and you know, just starting my, let's put it this way, my buddies, my friends that are kind of co-organizers and founders of the event, you know, the way we started it and the way that we were motivated to start. We started with a little cross liga, right? So there was we just brought some kids, and every week we would run. They would run, all ages, and you know, kind of to grow from there. Just watching that little event grow into the really big event and one of the biggest events in our region. It's to me, it's very inspiring, and this is something that I would recommend, you know, to anyone to you know, do something like that and do something, you know, start. You can always make it, you know. This is the I lived in America for 13 years, you know, and there's always, you know, you have this American dream, right, that you can start small and go and grow into something big. And I think it's a great message. It's a great message. Probably to me, it's the best message to finish with.
Yeah, it's a wonderful message, and you know, how do you look at it? You know, you started from a little group like that, and 6 years later, you get up to some years 6,000 people. So how many people have you been able to touch, let alone the people they've touched? It's a wonderful story. Well, congratulations on that, and thank you for sharing the story and your time. And I wish you all the very best over the next few months, and hopefully some smooth waters leading up to October, and a hugely successful event with most importantly no rain, so they all come out for the fun run and enjoy themselves. Thank you so
Right.
much, Vladimir. It's been great to meet you.
Thank you, Chris. I just want to say at the end, thank you for what you're doing. And I told you that before this conversation, that everything that you've given us for these few past months, and kind of connecting the organizers and trying to find the solution for all of us. And I hope you make it with your project of races that are, you know, still going and that happen, which is very hard to find these days. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure. I love doing it, and really appreciate your feedback. Thanks, Vladimir.
Thank you.